Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to the show, y'all. Check us out, y'all. Listen. Brutally honest today about something that
Chris,
I'm not very proud of. Not at all.
He was out there struggling.
You know, I'm talking to him on the
but at
the
time,
I thought I was doing the right thing.
To him
I think a lot of parents get caught in this trap
maybe twice a week.
Like I did.
I'm calling him. He putting the money on there. I'm calling him, talking to him.
Make a bad decision.
Keep calling him, man, because I'm keeping him motivated and
for
all
the rest
these
of their
types
life.
of things,
You know
right?
what I'm saying?
He said to me, "You gonna look out for my son
or a significant amount of
time.
They don't really need. Let's put it that way.
To look out for them.
I'm gonna share the story about when
my
I
oldest
put my
son, he
own
takes care of
son
himself financially. He's
in the dope
breaking
game.
my youngest son, Boo, off a
so,
little bit every now and then.
Boo,
look,
I'm gonna go in
do things
that,
himself. You know what I'm saying? And get his
that
own
was a
money.
terrible
But at the end of the
decision.
day, he didn't really
terrible
need. My
parent.
sons and them didn't really need him.
I was trying to be
He
a
just
friend.
wanted to be that
to my
balanced
son.
adult male figure in
that
their
at
life.
the
You know what I'm
time,
saying?
but
I'm looking at it like this: a Muslim
I guess
brother.
some
You know
part
what
of
I'm
me,
saying?
I thought I was
he keeps it
being
100. I ain't worrying about him trying to do
parent,
nothing
too.
crazy. If anything, he gonna
But that
give
was
them
bull crap.
some good advice.
You know what I'm saying? Let me
You know
explain
what I'm
why
saying?
this is
Being
what happened.
A
Check
man
this
and
out.
all of
This
these
is what
types of
happened.
things, right? Because he knew
I happened to be on the
how I
phone one
really
day.
feel about
At this
you know,
time,
my
this is
son,
way back in the day, talking to
my
my
oldest
gal,
son
right?
selling dope,
And
I'm
she,
worried that it's going to influence
we were just
my
talking,
youngest
kicking
son,
it back
all
and
of these
forth, and I
different
was
types
sitting
of
on the
things.
phone. Let me describe
And
the scene to you, right?
I'm worried.
In the
So
pod,
he's going to be
where I
that
was at
voice
this
for me
time,
out there.
you know
Three
what I'm saying,
phones on the
talking to
wall,
them,
looking
right?
out. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that
Pops
much
can't
space
talk to
between
him.
each
They
phone,
need
right?
somebody to talk
It's like
to.
a phone, a stool,
He's going to be the
a
one
phone in the middle,
that can
no
allow
stool,
and talk
then
to
another
him, call
phone in the
and all
stool,
that
right?
type
So the
stuff,
person
right?
that's in the
So
middle would
I'm
typically
telling
be
them
standing
when
up while they would be
he
talking
might
on the phone.
go down
And two
to
people on the outside,
Springfield,
they could sit
and
down
holler at
in
him,
the
or they
stool,
might
right?
come to Nashville
But
or
on
something
the
like that,
outside
and
stool,
they'll
the
be
very
with
first
him, and I happen to call
there
him,
also
or
was
them,
this trash
and we're
bin,
talking
right?
and all that. I
It was
said,
a
man, this
metal
is my
trash
dude,
bin
man.
where
You can trust
most of
him.
the time,
He's straight.
the person that would
and
be
blah,
on the
blah, blah.
first
We
phone
did some
would
time
sit
together.
right there, and then
We did some time
typically
together.
maybe put their feet
But see,
on the
what I
seat
learned
right at the first
about
phone, and that
doing
way the
time
middle
with
person could actually sit on that first
in the
seat.
penitentiary, you can be
know what I mean?
anything and
And
anybody you want to be.
They basically share that. You know what I'm saying? Because the other
anybody
person
you
would
want
be
to be.
sitting
You
up
can
on the
be
middle
this
being trash bin,
upstanding
right?
person.
So that's
here.
what happened
I'm
this
talking
particular
about
day.
when it comes to that
A
code.
partner of
right?
mine,
See, that's where we
we'll
get
call it
tricked.
G-Lo,
You know, a
right?
person that
G-Lo
lives
was
by
on the
the
very
code.
first phone, right?
You feel what
Sitting
I'm
on
saying?
the trash bin, but he
Keep
had
your
his
mouth
foot
shut.
pulled
Not
not
all
all
the
the
way
way on there,
all
but
of
just
these type of
dangling a
things
little
in the
bit
streets,
with his
right?
toes on
That
the
code
seat. And I
is
was on
based
the
on
middle phone,
deceit.
so I was sitting on
That
that seat with my
code is
back
based
to
on
G-Lo,
manipulation.
right?
That
I
code
wasn't
is
paying
based
attention.
on
His phone
using
call,
people.
he wasn't paying
So
attention
when
to
you
mine,
got two
okay?
individuals
So this is
living
what
their
it was. I
life
was
based
on
on
the
their
phone
code,
talking to my
honor
guy, and we
among
were
thieves,
kicking back
right?
and forth about
What
different things,
what we're
right?
talking about
And
is we live by a code
lo
that
and behold,
deceives people.
uh,
So if we live by
she
a
tells
code
me
that
that your
deceives
son
people,
is
then
trying
we're
to call.
deceiving
You
each
know what I'm
other.
saying?
Right or
What do you
wrong?
want me to do?
If you disagree,
I said, just
hit
hit
it
him
up in
back.
the
You know what I'm
comment
saying?
section.
Text him
Let
back
me
real
know
quick
what
and
you
tell him I'm
think.
going to call him in a few minutes.
So anyway,
And she
Chris,
said, okay. She
is
did.
this
She
dude
does
that I
that, and then
stamped with
my
my
son hits me and
son.
said,
I
okay, tell
stamped
daddy,
him, man.
I need to talk to him
I stamped him.
immediately. You know what I'm saying? ASAP.
So one day, you know what I'm saying?
I told
I'm
her, I
calling
said,
him,
look,
I'm
let me get up
talking
off
to
the
him.
phone with you.
And this is Chris. I'm calling
And I'm
Chris,
gonna
and
call
I'm
him
talking
real
to him
quick
one
and
day.
see what he's talking
And his
about.
gal,
And
his fiance,
now, as a matter of fact,
happens to be at the
before-
house.
Before I clicked off, before she got off the phone,
So he
I said,
puts her
call
on the
him
phone,
real quick.
introduces her
Let me
to
see
me. I
what's
met her a
going
couple
on.
of times in
So
the
she
VG,
called him.
but
And
she
when
never
she
was
called
really
him,
just
he was
all
telling
too
me that
happy
he had
in the
just
VG,
got
right? And I'm thinking it's
tricked
because
out of
he's locked
his
up and so
money.
on and
You know what
so
I'm saying? Somebody
forth.
sold
That type
some
of
fake
thing,
dope.
right? So
I said,
now,
hold on a
Chris,
second. Don't-
like,
you
man,
know,
holla
don't
my
go into
girl
that
real
real
quick,
quick. I'm
Joe.
gonna
I
call
gotta
you
run and
back. I
take
ain't
care
let
of
my
something,
girl
man.
be
Don't hang
hearing
up.
all
I
of what
need
I
to
was
talk to
talking
you
about
about
to my
something. I
son,
said,
right?
okay, man.
Because
He
I
put
didn't
on the
really
phone,
want my
I'm talking
son
to her, you know what I'm
selling
saying?
dope. You know
How
what I
you
mean?
doing?
At this
And
particular
all this,
time,
keeping
I'm
it
like,
nice and
you know,
respectful.
he
She
had
was
made his
like,
own decision.
you
This
don't
is
know
that.
him.
He had his own plug. He was
That's all
trying
out
to
the
for
blue.
himself, whatever. But
She said, you
I
don't
was
know
kind of
him.
like
I said,
standoff.
what you
You
talking
know what
about?
I'm saying? So, and she started
Hung
hung
up
up
the
the phone,
phone,
and
he
I
ain't
called him
straight,
right back on
he
his
ain't
phone,
working,
and
he
now
ain't
we're talking.
doing it, this and
he's
that, taking
telling
care of
me
his
about,
responsibility.
this guy that he went to meet.
I understand that.
That he had when you first get out of penitentiary, sometimes on a few occasions
find a job.
But this particular time, that the dude had sold him and 3 ounces of it's like that stucco. You know what I'm saying? That you know, he'd find a job, but it was always these construction sites. It looked like be there, and they wasn't straight.
The dude had ground it up real good.
Either they didn't like made it look like, and you know what I'm saying, there was this and that and that. He would always have a reason. That
you didn't test it to make sure it was straight. I'm asking him all these types of questions, right? Because now I'm looking like
his gas, you don't even know what you're doing. Has his son. Stop. You feel what I'm saying? So he's not upset. He's like, Daddy. So she's saying that he gave me for my money. I said, how much did he get you for? I'm not looking deeper than that deal at this particular time. He gave him $900 for each zip, right? So that's $2,700 that he beat my son out of, right? Now listen, you remember when I told you about my partner G-Lo on the phone behind me, he got you thinking that he's this type of dude and that type of dude. He's not trying to looking out for your son. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaning forward on the phone and I'm whispering. He ain't looking out for your son. His voice was elevated a little bit. He's kicking it with one of his homies. I'm looking at it like she's just a bad girl from Chris Paul out there. I'm hearing G-Lo say, him a girlfriend, or he really don't want to be with Springfield. Something else is going on. And you know, when you're just kicking it in the pot, and you know people, right? I'm looking at it like I'm listening about his part, but I'm really just saying, y'all better leave them SPT niggas alone, right? We don't play down at the SPT. That's what we call Springfield. Y'all gonna be straight. The SPT, right? She keep pushing. So well, I do anyway, right? So she said, "Do you know why Chris I did that?" And me and G-Lo laughed and looked at each other, whatnot. And he's continuing to talk while I'm talking to my son. She was like, "Right now, my son is telling me about the problems that he's going through on the streets with some dude from the Ville." But at the same time, I'm hearing G-Lo son in the background, your son out here talking to his partner, hearing his name about when you in the streets, people still hearing their money in another city from Springfield. Because like I told you, my partner that put him on, just totally a coincidence. This dude is major. So I tell my son, I said, "Hold on a second." He was major, especially back in them. And then I turn around, I said, "G-Lo," I said, and he was introducing my son to people. He just beat somebody out of Springfield out of their money. He was like, "Yeah." G-Lo's laughing at people in the game. I said, because when you get to a certain level, like everybody at that level, they kind of like what they call dude. What's the dude's name? It's kind of like got out of the money. An unspoken thing where they call up different parts of the city. You know, this is me. So I said, I ain't even so forth. Take my hand off the receiver or the phone so my son could hear it right together. I just told him, they might go to sporting events together, have cookouts and stuff like that. And my son, I said, "Hey, dude, did he get him for being in those circles, right?" And he asked the dude, and Chris was like, "Yeah, how you know?" He said, "Man, I'm sitting here right now. He's seeing his dad is right here." This is what G-Lo come from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying? I tell G-Lo, I look at G-Lo, I said, "Man, look here, man. Tell your partner, man, he need to make it one day, man. We're going to have some problems." Now G-Lo's eyes get big, right? You know, he affiliated, you know what I'm saying? And I'm affiliated. We have two different things, needed to borrow some money. I gave now I know the biz. Letting you know. You feel what I'm saying? He running his mouth. I ain't hustling. I done heard what's going on. First I said, how much put the piece together? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm telling him, okay, you done got my son. Get my son his money back, or we going to have a problem. I said, when did he say he's going to get it back? Really what I'm saying, the G-Lo ain't tripping or nothing like that. He said he's going to give it back to me next week. He get my son, I'm going to get you. Okay, if he told you what I'm saying, if he don't straighten that, I'm going to straighten, you know what I mean? Now, it's no way in the world I know. So now G-Lo breaks seals. He tell him, look here, man. There's no way you need to get that money back over, man. I don't care what you got to do. You need to get that back to him. You feel what I'm saying? And you need to. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't nothing worth no $500. I ain't finna get $500. G-Lo, look, I'm saying I wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? Independent. So G-Lo hand me the phone. I said, "What's up, homie? What's up, man? What you got going on?" I tell him my name, what I do, who I am, and what I'm supposed to pay. You know, you get your resume. You know what I'm saying? When you finna get grammar right. Look here, man. And then my son, you know, it's like GD with me. Starting to think, I don't play. He's a cool dude, especially about mine. You feel what I'm saying? But that made money back to my son. We gonna have a problem. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm thinking now. You know what I mean? So he was like, "Yeah, I hear you, man, but it wasn't no messed up dope." I said, "Man, my son ain't lying about that, man. Get him his money back, man." Then I had the phone back to G-Lo. I didn't let him say nothing else to me. You know what I'm saying? All this G-Lo said he's thinking, "You don't take care of that. He gonna take care of it." I said, "All right, dude, that's what's up." He can ask him. So now I take my hand off and see when I got back on the phone with my son. I'm talking to my son. I said, "Look here, man. On another level, it's like." I said, "Man, I know who got you for that, right? Anything like that." How you know? I said, "Don't worry about all that, man. I know who got you for that. He gonna give you a call. He gonna straighten that. And don't get me wrong, my son money back, or he gonna give you some dope, right?" They grown teenagers. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to have some dope. I said, "No, but get your money back. Still teenage. Get your money back. They still. I got somebody I'm gonna holler at for you already. So you ain't got to worry about that no more. They still need guys." That's when I put my son did that on the strength in the dope game, right there. He looked at one because I was looking out for my son, comment and all of these different things, you know. And the reason I said that is because looking at it like my dad is not gonna put somebody around all kinds of stuff going on. If he was gonna do it, I called myself with a major person. I'm gonna make sure. So my daddy's word is bond. This is how my stupidest thing I could have done, right? So here's what I respected that, I liked it, I appreciated that. G-Lo get off the phone. I tell my son I love him. I get off the phone with him, right? When you let certain people me and G-Lo talk, I ask him about another partner of mine that's out there on the streets, right? That I better find out everything you can about him. You got his number. You know what I'm saying? Because we just been right. And I ain't calling because he into the game. And I ain't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? I get my stuff a different way. Make sure you but this partner of mine is in the Ville. He deep in the game. He a good, solid dude. Good, solid. Bottom line. So G-Lo like, yeah, I talk to him all the time, this and that, right? And I'm notice how I'm not calling his name because he's still doing my sons, feel what I'm saying? But anyway, in the car, now it's my youngest son on the phone. Now y'all know G-Lo give me his number. Talking about daddy. You know what I'm saying?
I said, what's going on,
and
baby?
then I find a way to call him. I call him up. I said,
Montreal just got robbed.
My son needs somebody.
He just got robbed. How did he get robbed?
Because when he come to the Ville, he meet
and I told him about what had happened to him and all this straight.
Now my partner, it ain't no, you know, he one of them
middleman. Ain't nobody in the middle of that.
So deep in the game, stuff like that is funny.
He makes sure that everything is straight.
You know what I'm saying?
I said,
so he was like, man, look here.
He said, man, when he was at the spot,
give him my number, tell him to call him, take care of me.
He said, Chris called him and said, man, it was an emergency. He needed to meet him somewhere real fast.
You understand what I'm saying?
It was going to take a minute, but it was an emergency. He needed his help. So he leave the spot.
I'm excited about that for my son.
Go meet Chris.
But the reason I'm excited,
as soon as he get to the spot,
he's not going to have to worry about the dangerous aspects.
Chris is walking the game, and some dude come out with a mask and put the gun up
what's about to happen.
I didn't calculate that get on the ground.
I wasn't thinking about that in that moment. I wasn't thinking about that. In that
moment. I said, so where did Chris go? He said, Dad, he walked away.
I get off the phone.
He just kept walking like he didn't hear.
I said, call him right now.
Like he didn't know what was going on.
He gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying?
I said, for real? And I said, like,
my son called him.
Man, I said, so what happened? He said,
so I get on off the phone.
The dude got the gun behind Montreal's head. He said, give me the keys.
You feel what I'm saying?
So Montreal said the keys was in the car.
They work everything out.
So the dude go open the car door.
A couple hours later, I called back right before the lockdown.
Well, another dude go open the car door, grab the key.
Man, I already been over and got that, and I'm straight.
Montreal's laying down on the ground. The other dude got the pistol to his head. They open up the trunk and get out the 20 racks.
I thought you were trying to just
get the 20 racks out.
He said, no, I got the
3. And then they close the trunk
for the 3.
And then they telling me, better not get up, they gonna kill me.
Then that's when I told my son, don't
play. So they walk away, run away, and then
Montreal,
he started to look around and see, and ain't nobody there, but he's still scared to get up. And then some old lady come out of the house, and she was like, baby, why are you on the ground? And then he looked at her,
play with him.
And he said, I just got robbed. He said, oh my God, let me call the police.
And then my son,
he's hype. So he gets up,
talking about, you know what I'm saying, how,
and he gets in his car,
this
and he's driving. He called me, and he tell me to get on this and that now. You know what I'm listening to him, and I drive over there, and I'm thinking, now we in the car, we riding around, we looking for Chris.
I'm thinking I've done a good thing.
So about this time, my oldest son, Montreal, he get on
and be safe.
Stupid.
He's
stupid. Chris done robbed me, man. I can hear
that's what I was thinking. In his voice. That's what I was thinking. So now my son is moving. He's got it. He got that working. He's slow. He don't know what just happened. Sewing up the city. But he trying to keep it gangster.
Can't nobody really compete with it.
Trying to hold
because he got this uncut funk. You feel what I'm saying? He can hit that thing 2 or 3 times, and it's still that fight. This nigga still that fight.
Had my son on the ground with a pistol.
And now he went from 9 to a half, from a half to a whole.
My son didn't know whether he was going to live or die.
And he that dude now.
And now another level of worry starts to come over.
That's when they say it.
Because even though my sons, he had somebody that he could rely on that wouldn't play no games with him to supply him what he needed. He was still in the dope game. But now when you get on that level of the dope game, things can go wrong for you real fast. Did you know anything about this? I'm the reason that he's in this position that he's in. So now I start to think, I got to get him up out of that. So I call my partner and I tell my partner, look, man, stop getting him so much, man. He was like, man, he getting rid of this stuff so fast that I ain't got no choice. If I don't give it to him like that, he'll be on the highway 3-4 times a week. The street code, see what that means
like that, so he can just come see me once a week.
When you're a part of a game, right, and you bringing somebody in, everything that
they
moving
do like that, all of that, that's
my partner's like, yeah, he moving
you introduced them to the family.
He said he one of my top earners now, man. I'm like,
I introduced Chris.
He's like, yeah, man. He getting his bread, man. He getting his bread. He said he got his right name. He got the right street name, Moneybag.
Sons.
He moving it. So now I'm talking to my son on the phone, man, and he's
into the fold.
His whole demeanor is different. And he took advantage of that. He's like, he took advantage.
Like he's this dude.
You know how when you meet somebody that's in the game that's on the top and they know they on the top?
I got off the phone. I'm panicking.
That's how my son is sounding. I said, man, let me call him. I'm going to call him.
He sounded like he's really calling shots.
He running some things.
I didn't get off the phone.
And he was. But it was an illusion. It was a fallacy because, you know, as long as he had the dope, they're going to look at him like he that dude. But when he ain't got that dope, answer the phone.
Now what?
I'm pissed at this point because now I'm starting to believe about.
Plus,
I said, where's Chris at?
Like that, you got
them hounds.
I don't know. He left a while ago.
He got them hounds out there. I said, when he get there, and that's what I call my son about. It's 911.
I'm in the penitentiary and I'm kicking it around back and forth. You know, I got a couple of partners.
So I start running it down to things, you know what I'm saying?
And it was just one dude.
I told you, I'm gonna call him. I told you he wasn't straight. There's one dude that I talked about. Told you he wasn't straight. A lot. I done introduced him in the VG to him and all this. And I said, I ain't trying to hear that right now. I said, when he get in, you tell him to call. Good, brother. I'm not playing. This is serious. So I thought. One day go by. This brother, 2 days go by. We were in the penitentiary together. We broke bread together. I looked out for him. You feel what I'm saying? He ain't even situations that got ugly for him. You know what I mean? So after about, and at the time, I thought it was almost his fault, but the other individuals called back over there. Other games, she happened to be at the house. I check them. I make sure they. I said, "Where is Chris? His hands off with him. He with me. It's my partner." She said, "Joe T, I'm sorry. I did a lot of that for him, man." I said, "What you not to say that he was a coward and couldn't fight or anything like that. It's just that I looked at him like he was a brother of mine. I know he did. He kept denying. I made sure he was straight. She said, I know him. I know him. But then when he got out, you know, I said, I need to find him. I need to make this right." See, it was bothering me, and I wanted to make it right because now you remember when I said a few months ago about them hounds. Really believe? Turns out he was one of them hounds that now look, check this out. Tune into the next episode. And I'm going to tell you, and that was hurting me, this person that I called. To think that this person that I had brought into the fold would allow somebody to put a gun to my son's head. It's been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. What if my son would have fidgeted and moved, or what if he would have fought back? Then what? How does this end? How does this end? How does this end? It would have gotten ugly. I know it would have. And my son probably wouldn't be here. And that's on me. And that was eating me alive. It was eating me alive. And I didn't know what to do. Now, why do I tell you this story? Why am I telling you this story, y'all? I'm telling you this story because I want you to understand that sometimes when you make a decision as a parent to do things that are not right in relation to your child because you want your child to like you and all of these other things. You think you're protecting your child, particularly if you're doing something criminal. You're not. You're not helping them because you can't control what's going to happen in life. And if something happens to your child because of you, because of something that you've done, like I introduced my child to the dope game, and if something would have happened to him in the dope game, it's on me. And I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done, but it would have been on me if my son would have gotten killed. So think about that when you're out there and you're thinking about what you're going to do in this situation, that situation. My uncle told me something. He said, you shouldn't have never done that. Now, if he decided to do it on his own, that's what he's going to do. But you don't do it. Because if something happens, it's your responsibility. And that's on you. And that's what I mean. So remember that. Remember that. If you introduce your child to something illegal and they end up getting in trouble, that's on you. It's on you. If they do it on their own, that's on them. And then you be there for them as a parent, not as a friend. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.